Recording is in progress. Good evening, y'all. This is Foxtrot Platoon, evenings and weekends. I am Jordan West. I'll be your host, your instructor, your lecturer, and your friend today. As we go through Regex, no one look. Somebody tell me what Regex is. Somebody who's heard it before. Actually, I mean, you can read it, but boil it down. Unless this does a great job of boiling it down already. It's all right. We'll go through it. So Regex is the way I would describe it is like a code agnostic, I don't know, like OS level expression you can use all over the place. Regex is going to have a few different syntaxes depending on where you're invoking it from. But overall, Regex works the same way in Python and Ruby, in Bash, Shell, everything. It is a way to search text as if you were an alien and didn't know what characters these were. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't care. It's looking for pattern matching. Regex is used in a lot of different tools on the terminal. I don't know. It's just an expression, and the machine tries to find something that matches that expression. We'll be doing it in Python today. So regular expressions, or regex as it commonly is known, is the ability to use patterns to match character combinations. While every language has slightly different patterns to match these combinations, they fundamentally work the same. Generally, a user inputs some text. I don't want to say generally and basically. This is a way it could work. A user inputs some text. Your compiler, using whatever, reads that input and pattern matches it. If it passes, do one thing. If it does not, do something else. Here's a good, option for that. This is a common thing. This is what you'll be doing today. This is useful for something like phone number inputs, social security methods, because people are terrible at putting their information into a form. You ever fill out a job interview, like a resume form, and it waits till the very end, clears all the data. It's like, you didn't do your date right. That's regex. You can thank regex for that. That's bad UX. You shouldn't have to redo the entire form because you made one mistake. It should tell you when you're making a mistake before you submit. That's all down the road. UX saves lives. Or what's that song called? Life is too short for bad UX. You also check it out. Also, I'm going to share with y'all a UX game. I got to find it again. It's the most frustrating thing in the entire world, and it's funny. I don't know why I'm thinking of that right now. Regex helps with this because they look for consistent patterns. In our case, we just want numbers associated with phone number input and to ignore the rest of the characters. So to explain that, does anyone know what this number is? I bet you do, Noel. Doesn't matter. Oh God, why does it do this? Here is
The Hawaii number?
It is. Do you know which one? Very
Not which
famous.
one, but I know 808.
Yeah, there was this taxi commercial called I don't even know what the taxi was, but they'd go 422 and it was a bunch of just dudes dressed up in like cool outfits. Very silly. Anyways, you could write that like that. You could also write it like I don't know if you're crazy like that. You could also, do something like that. How and we got to take this data and we got to input it somewhere, right? So we need to be smart enough to be able to convert all of these things down to only the useful data. This is fine if we're looking at it. If I were to write these down in my notebook, that'd be useful. But if I'm about to pack this stuff in a database and I want to go and sift through it and find, telephone numbers and generate some kind of output, this could cause us some problems. Let's say this was our database. Let's say, or maybe it's just a text file we're using because we're pretty low tech. And I say, hey Ray, go chop up all the area codes and give me all the numbers because we're going back 40 years. Um, Programmatically, I mean, right now, yeah, I could just chop these off. What if there were 42,000 of these? How would you go about ripping 808 off of each of these?
Are you, to me?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I mean, I think without without knowing what the whole regex thing, I think you'd have to turn it into a string, right?
we could do that. Yeah, we can look at it as a string.
You,
But I
you
mean, yeah,
turn
you're
turn it
right.
into a string, and then you'd rip off the first characters.
Yeah, that's definitely how you have to do that. But we have to figure out ways to programmatically kind of accomplish that. So what if we return this into a string and we did Python, we could write something like, all right, maybe if you find parentheses, remove those. Um, but then we would just be left with this and this and then this. And we have to, figure out how to get rid of these if we want those or not. And then once we dial it all down, maybe you take the first three off. Um, Regex can handle this fairly easily, although Regex can be kind of hard to look at sometimes. I went kind of looking for something because people will always ask, like, why don't I just do it this way? Why don't I just do it that way? There was a Stack Overflow answer I really liked that I'm actually just going to kind of paste over here. Um, but they're basically saying, like, yeah, you can do string methods. Check it out. Um, sorry, string equals this, not a problem. String contains that, not a problem. String index of this, less than string, not too bad. But when you start having to conjoin these things, like, by the way, this is actually not just pseudocode. If you have to start linking all of these together, multiple predicates, if you will, it starts getting crazy. Oh yeah, and this is definitely not Python, by the way. Regex is really good when you need to pattern match and it starts getting complex. So that's kind of just somewhere to get your head. Like, these things are fairly easy to do with Python, but if we needed to do all three of them and then check against that, and if this, you're basically how does he explain it? You're inventing your own ad hoc string validation language, which is what it is. Anyhow, I want to go through that. Sometimes regex is a weird concept to grasp, and people don't understand the benefit of it initially. We always show you, hey, here are telephone numbers. This is how you fix them. But I want to just go a little bit further than that because it's not just for telephones. You can use regex to accomplish some extreme work if you get real crazy with it. Um, let's do the lecture. So, it recommends for you to use raw strings instead of regular Python strings by prepending your string with an R. That makes it a raw string and not a Python string. It's just going to treat it like regular old text. Uh, this is for kind of consistency with your regex. Different languages are going to handle strings different ways, as you may know from JavaScript. The difference between a backtick, a single tick, a double, or double quote, single quote, all these different things. We're going to convert it to raw. This is raw English language is what this means. And here's some examples. I also expand on these examples because it's a little bit difficult to understand from just this. Let's copy it over and see what happens. So this is the library we're importing. Stands for regular expression, nothing too crazy. Re.search will search for a string if you pass it in to see if it matches the regex pattern you have. Get out of here. It's so messy. Okay. So here's our string. This is a date, July 24th. Let's make it Jordan's birthday. I already June, didn't I? Regex pattern. So this looks like garbage, right? Nobody sees that and thinks, ah, yes, English. This is regex. And right off the bat, you might think that looks terrible. I don't want that. And you're not alone. There's a lot of hate for regex. A very common saying is if you have a problem and you think you're going to use regex to fix it, you now have two problems. You'll hear that. But that's nonsense. Don't be scared of it. It's very useful. This is our regex pattern. So raw string, quotes, everything in here is what we're matching. Within these first parentheses is going to be our first match. So what this is saying is from A to Z, this is a range, from A to Z, I want any string, or sorry, any characters. I also, within this range, will take any capitalized characters. So A to Z lowercase, A to Z uppercase. And then anything else. I don't care what it is, anything else. This is our first match. Now this, within these quotes, by the way, just like you would interpolate, this is a space. This is a legitimate space. So within our regex string, we're looking for any letters, as many as you want, capitalize, uncapitalize, don't care. This is very common. That's why I can read it and tell you what it says. I've seen it 100 times. This is a space. Next, we want digits. We want numbers, at least one, and then plus means as many more come after that, right? Anything else until it ends. So that probably should match July 25th. We can see that if we run this. Oh, it's going to run all of them. We do not want to see all of those yet. Just this one. One more time. Let's make it a little bigger. So what we get here is this regex matching object. Not the easiest thing to read in the world, doesn't make a ton of logical sense, but this is what we get back. This is a valid match. All this is saying, the result of this is yes, Boolean, you got a match when you search for it. I'm going to go ahead and talk about match as well, because they're basically the same thing, but not actually. They look like the same thing with these examples. If we run them, those are identical outputs. So search returns a match object with a thing that's matched up. Fine. Match, same as above, but this does it from the beginning. And it only returns on the first match. So they're both matching because any list, any number of alphabetical, uppercase, lowercase, don't matter, space, and numbers. Now, let's get rid of some of that. Cool. So to explain search, this is a Boolean. You can verify, it's truthy falsy. Real quick example. So if I were to set X as just a variable, bad variable name, that's okay. I'm just setting X as the result of this regex pattern, this re.search that we did earlier. Why is this here? Oh, that string's in the way. That's fine. And then I'm going to run some logic on it. If X, basically, if it finds something, the search has found a match. Yay. Else, not a search, or sorry, not a match found. And as you can see, yes, truthy, we have a match. If we were to bork this up in some way, it would not. Easy peasy. Truthy falsy. Nothing to remember there. But to explain the difference between search and match, match again starts from the beginning. So, what's my example for this? Yeah. So if we had something like this instead and ran match on it, notice we did not find a match. That's because it starts at the beginning of the string. It's looking for something that matches this, starting from the very beginning. It doesn't find it. It says, nope, not there. Too bad. That's the only difference between these two. We're displaying this because everywhere you look, you're going to find re.search, re.match, and you might get some inconsistencies and not, be sure what's going on. Remember, searches the whole thing, doesn't care if it finds a match, good. Match starts at the beginning, runs from there, good. Next, we have find all. This is going to return every instance of a match. So this should just return a list of matches. We'll see about that. Yeah, it done did. So this is what its pattern is. Anything, oh, sorry. Run this against all of this. And every time it finds one, it's going to put that into a list and return the list. So it found a tuple of June and 24. That is the regex group. Shoved it in there. Found August, found December. Looks good. This can be useful for, I don't know, being to match a bunch of things. My fun little thing I decided to build was I pulled down the Warhammer 40K Space Wolves wiki, and I'm searching for every time they use the word wolf, because everything's a wolf tank, wolf brother, wolf gun, wolf sergeant, all that. 3,015 times in this wiki document. Because look, it produces a list. Check the link of the list. Things like that. I know probably nobody thought that was interesting, but that's what I did with it. Do we have any questions before we dial it up a notch? Seems straightforward enough, I know. It can get silly. We're gonna try and keep it not silly today. All right, so here's another example. We'll just paste it on over here. All right, here's our regex. It is the very same as we had before. Matches, we are going to find all using our regex. Let's comment that out and run it. So for this string, I would expect it to give us, I mean, we already saw what find all does, but we ought to be able to print a string with the full match, including the matches. And we did. Here's our first match, June 24th, August 9th, December 12th. Makes sense. Don't think I lost anyone on that one. Now we're going to talk about find and replace, which is another thing you can do with regex. It pulls everything in as one stream of characters and can return something back. Again, as we said, it can just match things or it can, replace. Here is our regex now, which is, again, the exact same. I'm going to stop putting duplicated info on here. And we are going to sub, that should be substitute. Using our regex, what's going on here? Ooh. I'm not even going to explain it. I'm just going to show you the output. Oh my gosh, what happened? Oh, because I didn't give it. Hold on now. Did I delete something I wasn't supposed to delete? I think I did. Yeah, I did. My bad. Oh yeah, that's a different regex pattern. Duh. Did delete too much. What do y'all think it's doing? What is this? What does it look like it's doing with this input and this output?
It's switching the format of the date. So it's doing the days before the months.
How's it doing that? How's it know which one's which?
Because you set two groups in the regex with the parentheses.
You're absolutely right. That's all I did. We matched two different things. You saw you saw in the above example that it was giving us tuples. Well, this is the second match. This is the first match. And this is just a string. This is just a raw string going out. So sub takes the regex pattern. It also takes the output you would like to return, and then it accepts the string itself. Nothing too crazy there. This is easy peasy. regex, bring something in, write something out. If we were to use this as, I don't know, a real simple function that telephone numbers had to funnel through, we could rip out what we wanted, spit out the correct formatted telephone, and then put it wherever we want. This is, you know, more or less how that would be done.
Could you explain the to of part a little more?
Yeah, we can. So I just don't like having too much up on the screen, but I end up peeling stuff out. All right, so in this first example, I just want the match. Oh, what's the better way to do that? Sorry. This actually looks better. We're not going to dig through the match and matches. We're just going to return the match object. So for this one here, oh, goodness gracious. Bear with me. I want to make sure the example's good. All right, cool. So find all takes the two separate, basically, this is the group of matching you're doing. This is the first one, there's a space, and there's a second one. These are just positional arguments, basically. The output of searching through this is going to, every time it finds a regex pattern match, pull those, say, oh, this is the first one, there's a space, here's the second one, and pass those in as a tuple. That's why we've got a list, then a tuple of June, and then 24th, August, and then 1st, December, and then 22nd. For the same, I'll just copy all this again. Running through the same input, we're using this sub library of regex. This is going to, is this useful? I don't ever read these. Return the string obtained by replacing the leftmost non-overlapping occurrences. That's complicated. Regex.sub is going to find patterns and replace them with whatever you offer it. So if I were to write docs for this, it would be something like pattern output input. This expects a regex pattern. It needs input. Nothing new there. All the other regex patterns have done this as well. Or sorry, regex libraries have done this as well. The only difference is this one says, okay, now I have that output, or I've got this, you know, I found the input you wanted. How can I give it back to you? We can put really, we want, you know, anything in here because this is within this string. This output is our string that we're adjusting here. Of course, you can't leave pseudocode laying around. So 24 foobar of June, 9 foobar of August. And these are the first and second instances of the match here. So remember the matches in these tuples. June is the first, 24 is the second. So this is going to say, hey, whatever that second match is, put it first, then write the words foobar of, and then take that first match and put it here. This is just interpolation. This is no different than, you know, format strings, aka fancy strings. This is just second foobar of first. That's how you do it in fancy Python. The other way is something more like They're just positional arguments. Based off of the pattern we're matching. So the regex matches the pattern. Its output, when it runs this regex, was something like this. That would be the output, but we are substituting it. We're kind of formatting as we want. So we're saying, hey, what's the number 2 place? Make sure I do that right. Oh, it's this one, because this one's number 1, this one's number 2. So take 24, foobar of whatever the first one was, return that back, give that to the user. I don't think you even have to have them all. I think you, oh. Yeah, if I don't give it back that first positional argument, it's just going to omit it. It doesn't matter how many matches you've got. We are fully allowed to decide what is returned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. I was just, the of was throwing me off. I didn't realize that was just, could be whatever.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this stuff doesn't look like any other syntax that you're familiar with ever. So it's simple, but it's weird to look at. And that's kind of how I would explain regex. It can be very daunting to look up these massive regex. Like you can just look up like huge regex expressions and get, I don't know, insane things. Looks like, you know, the ravings of a crazy person. But this probably does a lot of work. Who knows? This probably is not real. This is probably more for, you know, just displaying skills. But I know people that can read this left to right and get a good, you know, and probably tell you what it does. It's not alien language. It's just weird looking. We're not going to make you do anything crazy like that. And again, if you start writing a ton of regex like that, you probably should just be looking at your input a little differently. There are a ton of resources for regex. Good tutorials, Python regex online tool. You can write regex and see if it matches. That's usually how I write regex with a calculator. Like I do anything that isn't English, like cron tabs. I'm on cron tab guru all day long today, and I kept having issues. So don't worry about memorizing every regex expression ever. Just kind of know how to look things up and how to do things in regex. But make sure you understand what your regex is doing. Don't take solutions you don't fully understand, like anything else. That's that. That's regex. That's all I want to talk about it. If we have no questions, I'm going to end the video.